Hello there my Jedi and Sith friends, my Mandalorians, my Megalorians, and maybe a few Mordalorians out there. It is I coming at you once again, your friend, and your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today, we're once again talking about the brand new show Maul Shadow Lord. Yesterday we got the first 2 episodes. I posted my breakdown and review, so go check that out if you missed it. But today, my friends, we're continuing the conversation. I've connected a few dots, and I want to talk about future connections, in particular with Season 2. But we're also going to talk about the character of Rook Kast. So lots to talk about in this one, guys. And if you've not done so already, please be sure to hit the big subscribe button down below, ring the bell for notifications, but no more jibber jabber. Are you ready for this? Let's go. So we begin with Maul loyalist and former super commando Rook Kast. A character who has a long history in the franchise, someone who first appeared in the Son of Dathomir comics, but made her on-screen debut in the Clone Wars Season 7. There have been endless theories about this character, and I'm going to address the most popular one in this very video. But first, away from the new episodes off-screen, Lucasfilm just revealed how Rook Kast survived the Clone Wars. We had no idea how she made it off Mandalore, and we still don't, but they just gave us a massive clue. On the day of the first 2 episodes, StarWars.com updated her databank, and now we have a very concrete insight into what happened after the episode The Phantom Apprentice. Lucasfilm is strongly implying there was a prison break. If you guys remember, the Mordalorians, Gar Saxon, Rook Kast and the others were captured by the clones, and after Maul's fight with the Ahsoka ends, he contacts Gar Saxon and says, "Die well." The super commandos are captured, and I'm sure they felt betrayed. But until today we didn't know explicitly what happened to Rook, how she escaped her capture, and how she made it back to Maul. We don't have the full picture. I don't know if the show is going to flesh it out in flashbacks, maybe Rook Kast is going to tell us, but the databank entry does give us a massive hint. So from the start, here's what it says. An incredibly skilled Mandalorian warrior unafraid to use merciless tactics against her enemies. Rook Kast and her scratched red Beskar armor are a force to be reckoned with. And here's the important part, my friends. At the close of the conflict, during the siege of Mandalore, Kast was imprisoned by Bo-Katan, but in the early days of the Empire, she once again serves a vengeful Maul while hiding in the bowels of Janix. So it seems as though she was imprisoned. She was a hostage to Bo-Katan, but eventually she broke out. So I think there's a very good chance there's a flashback coming up, and at some point, we are going to see that prison break. And keep in mind, Katie Sackhoff said she recently did some work for something. I know fans are assuming it's for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, but what if she returned to doing Bo's voice? Did you know, my friends, that in Star Wars canon, among the known Mandalorian houses is House Kast? There are so many unanswered questions about Rook. This implies her family could be as important as the Kreeses or even the Vislers, but nothing so far about House Kast has been elaborated upon. Not to mention there is also a clan Rook, so her name could be more important than we know. But in addition to Rook, another person fans are wondering about is Gar Saxon. He later shows up in Rebels working for the Empire, but why is he not in Maul Shadow Lord? Well, according to a couple of sources in my research, Gar Saxon might have joined the Empire straight away. If he felt abandoned by Maul, it makes sense, and maybe he tried to escape, he tried to go with Rook, but she left him behind. Following the dissolution of the Shadow Collective, Gar Saxon once again joined an outside regime by siding with the Empire, desiring power for himself. Around 6 BBY, which is 12 years down the line from Maul Shadow Lord, he was pardoned and installed as governor of Mandalore by Palpatine, and that's when he led the Imperial Super Commandos. But returning to Rook, there is one question so many fans want to know, and following the premiere of Maul Shadow Lord, it has once again re-emerged. Is the series once and for all going to answer the question of if Rook Kast becomes the Armorer? Honestly, my friends, it's one of those theories that's very fun. There are some very compelling similarities between the two. Their shared initial dislike of Bo-Katan, their accents, the fact the armorer's helmet has horns on it, which might have been a tribute to Maul, but there's also so much evidence stacked against it. And with the release of Maul Shadow Lord and the role she plays, I'm starting to think the answer is no. They're entirely separate characters. Their ethics and their beliefs are entirely misaligned. Are you seriously trying to tell me that Rook served one of the most brutal Force users in the galaxy, and then later on is skeptical about Force users, talks about the Jedi like she's never seen one, and joins an orthodox religious group? And on the subject of the armorer's helmet, I think it was implied in one of the recent visual guides that it's an ancient helmet, and I don't think they're talking about ancient as in the Clone Wars. I think they're going generations back. We're talking about hundreds or thousands of years ago. It's just a coincidence. And as someone else pointed out, what if the horns don't mean anything and they're for the sake of the armorer's head? What if she's a Zabrak? I know the books say human and Wikipedia says human, but that could just be a placeholder. The point is, given Rook's brutality, questionable ethics, everything she knows, who she's come across, her devotion to Maul, it seems very implausible in retrospect. So while initially I was a big fan of this idea, I just don't think Lucasfilm is going to implement it. I could be wrong, and if there is a big surprise coming, then I'm going to eat my words, but for now guys, I'm just going to say they're separate. But moving on, my friends, I want to address a huge connection I think is going to be very important now that Maul Shadow Lord's been renewed for a second season. Crimson Dawn has been named a few times, and I think we can say with some confidence that Dryden Voss is going to make an appearance. This will eventually lead Maul to meeting Qi'ra a few years down the road, but we might already have had a Qi'ra connection. In the Qi'ra trilogy, which is War of the Bounty Hunters, Crimson Reign and the Hidden Empire, Qi'ra tells one of my favourite characters, the Archivist, that she once heard rumours of Jedi surviving Order 66. Maul taught her quite a lot, and in retrospect, I wonder if the first time she heard about Jedi survivors is when Maul told her about his former apprentice, the Twi'lek Devon Izara, who might be the canon version of Talon. I don't think Qi'ra's going to appear in this season, but I would almost guarantee she's important to the second. I don't know if Devon is dead by then, if she flees, but the person Maul trains further down the line is Qi'ra, and I have to wonder how much knowledge he passed down. Qi'ra knew she inherited the most important information in the galaxy. In addressing Crimson Dawn, she says this: "I know a secret. All of you know it too. That is why you're here. Very few people understand the true nature of the galaxy. It's a prison, and the reason is one word. They're an ancient order, masters of the dark side of the Force. I learned about them from the one who ruled Crimson Dawn before me. His name was Maul. For a time, he was one of them too, apprenticed to the only other Sith in the galaxy. When he was reborn, he was no longer a Sith. Like so many of you, he was used. It's just a little theory I have, just a small thought. I was rereading the Crimson Reign comics, and I saw that Qi'ra kept mentioning Order 66. She literally sent the Archivist to Dagobah to find Master Yoda. But because he saved her life, she lies to Qi'ra and tells her that Yoda is dead. Is it possible Qi'ra was so fascinated by Order 66 because her once master trained up a Jedi Padawan? Or does she not know about that? Is it just a coincidence?